Here I am today in the beautiful Barossa Valley in one of the small hamlets called Light Pass or Lights Pass, depending on the signage you see at that time, surrounded by vineyards and also churches. Lights Pass was established in 1836, which is fairly old by South Australian terms. So what am I talking about today? Well, today I'm actually fulfilling a commitment I made when I talked about to-do lists back in virtually the first vlog I ever did, which was to talk about priorities. But of course not quite at this stage am I going to talk about priorities. I'm going to talk about pre-priorities or organisation, and eventually I'll get to the Kludge principle. Now sometimes I actually think I'm the worst person in the world to talk about this stuff because I was actually quite disorganised. When the earth was much, much younger, we had things called exams, and I was fantastic at organising revision timetables for these exams. Never studied, in fact I did it in lieu of studying, and I kept on organising revision timetables the whole time through. And then I'd study the night before. And that process I actually even used when I first started working. I'd leave everything to the last moment. Sometimes that works. But what I found out as I got more and more up the food chain, as we call it, that I started to let down myself, my team, and even occasionally the organisation. And so it means that I actually had to look at a different method. And what I'm going to talk about today are the 3 key tips I learnt about that. And I'm going to start off by saying, own your diary. You must own your own diary. When I talk to people, they keep on saying, I can't do anything because my time's all taken up. Well, you take control back of your diary. You block it out. Yes, you leave space for the ad hoc meetings for the parents or the people who need to come in. And there'll be times that other people have to, like your supervisors or whomever, that you have to go to meetings. But for the other times, own your diary and block it out. Write in the writing times, write in the walk around times, write in the reading times, and name them. Don't be ashamed to put down 2 hours for strategic planning. And then don't let people overwrite it, because it's just as important. So once you've owned your diary and taken back your time, the second thing is to stop being distracted in that time. Now, I was a classic at that. Before social media, I could stare out a window and say, oh, look at those pretty clouds, to stop myself doing the task. Doesn't mean you don't stop looking out a window, but it does mean in terms of social media and email, turn off your notifications. Block yourself and say, I might not get 2 hours solid, but let's get 30 minutes and then build it up. I could never get more than an hour before I had to go and walk and talk to people, because that was my need. And finally, we come to the Kludge principle, which just means just do it. Kludge means putting together an ill assortment collection of parts so they come together and serve a particular purpose. So from my point is, when you're writing something, this is what it's usually about, or trying to work on something, start with what you've got before. If you have to do a cut and paste, but just start at the beginning. Everything needs a beginning, a middle and an end, and you can kludge it together to start with. By the time you keep working on it, the end will not resemble the beginning, and those ill-assembled parts will actually be something that is coherent and cogent and actually come together for the particular purpose you have in mind. So they're the 3 tips that I use for people. Yes, and I will move on to priorities at the next time. So if you've got thoughts about it, please add them to the comments below. If you want to talk about it more with me, then please don't hesitate to contact. Otherwise, go well and take care until next time.